Friday night, the American Conference Championship game is played, and this essentially is a play-in game for the playoffs. Whichever team wins this, you win the American. The way the current playoff rankings are, you're going to be either the fourth highest conference champion or the fifth highest conference champion ranked, that is, and either way you get in. So this truly is win and you're in. North Texas versus Tulane. North Texas favored by 2.5. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Did you mention it was at Tulane?
I did not.
Okay, this is not a neutral site game. The American is like Conference USA and the Sun Belt, but not the MAC, and the Mountain West. So those four conferences in the group of five play their home games or their conference championship games at the home team who is the highest seed. And so Tulane is technically the highest seed, and so they will host North Texas. And so you would think North Texas minus 2.5, if it was a neutral site game, that's kind of substantial. But actually, it would be nearly 5.5 points on a neutral site. But this game being played at Tulane at night, the spread is only 2.5. That is kind of the difference between these two teams. Yet the committee, College Football Playoff, has continued to rank North Texas behind Tulane. In fact, North Texas finally sneaked into the rankings this week for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. North Texas has the number one offense in the country from a yards perspective, second overall passing, and the number one scoring. They average 46.8 points per game. They pass for 324, and they total yards is 510. Drew Mestemaker, future Oklahoma State Cowboy, as their head coach, has taken the Oklahoma State job already, as well as John Sumrall, who has taken the Florida job from Tulane. You got two coaches who have been distracted the past 2 weeks coming into this game. John Sumrall, I would argue, more distracted. He was in Florida gear on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Full-on Florida gear, filming Florida promos as well. I don't know if you saw the one where he picked up the phone out of the helmet. Do you guys actually watch? You guys need to watch it. It was very, very cringy. Very cringy.
Love good cringy videos.
On the scale of Devon Achan Instagram caption to Brian Kelly grinding on recruit, where are we?
I think we would, like, if you were to say Devon Achan's caption is conservative and Brian Kelly is liberal, then I would say it's moderate, but it leans liberal.
So you're moderate left, essentially.
Correct.
Okay, I'm there.
I love how we went from like aura versus cringe to politics. Like,
I think that's the best way to describe what occurred. But Sumrall's been distracted with that all week. He had that on Monday, and that was also obviously a very cringy moment. This is completely off topic, but it is funny to see how the social media game for Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas versus John Sumrall at Tulane, or at Florida, I should say, has been completely different. Like, Ryan Silverfield's social media from the team itself has actually been really good. The comments are just piss poor because they hate the hire. For John Sumrall, it has been terrible social media, but people still like the hire.
Yeah.
They just think the social media has been cringe. All that being said, they got to refocus. Tulane's got to refocus for this game and rise up for this game. It's a playoff berth on the line. Sumrall has had some pretty good teams at Tulane, but this team led by Jake Retzlaff, the former BYU quarterback, who, of course, had premarital sex, and that is why he is no longer the Cougars quarterback, and that is why he's the Tulane quarterback.
I love how you said he, of course, had, like, not just like...
Because he's a really bad person. He's a sinner. Look, we're all sinners. But
the more and more BY show we get, the more and more religious we get. This is crazy.
I mean, that's basically what they told him.
That is literally what he told them. That's why they kicked him out. He's had a fine season this year, 14 touchdowns, 6 through the air, but he's really been dangerous on the ground. He has 14 rushing touchdowns, which leads the Tulane Green Wave. On the North Texas side, they're really a two-man attack. Their quarterback, Mestemaker, will throw the ball all around, and then Caleb Hawkins, the true freshman running back, has 23 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's been electric. Now, I will say, a fair amount of those touchdowns happen with goal to go. And so that is where he gets a lot of those what fantasy football players football players will say Mickey Mouse touchdowns. Josh Jacobs touchdowns is the best translation for that. Jalen Hurts tush push touchdowns.
Yeah.
That being said, Caleb Hawkins is really, really dynamic and can be really he can have those cap-busting plays on the ground, and they're going to need those kinds of plays in this kind of game against Tulane. I think key to the game is, I'm going to be really point blank, Tulane's got to outscore the best offense in the country, North Texas.
Good luck.
And I wish them good luck. I agree.
Yeah.
They're going to need that home crowd to play some kind of factor. I think North Texas is clearly the more focused team and the more they feel like they have more to gain from this game than Tulane. It feels that way, especially with the way their head coach has been acting in recent days. North Texas, they know they feel slighted just as much as like JMU has felt slighted. They feel like they should have been ranked for multiple weeks as well. And now they get a chance to go on the road and make a huge statement on ABC on Friday night. It's the only game that's going to be on. There's no NFL that's on, so everyone's going to be watching this game that's watching football. And they're going to have something that they want to prove. They want to show. And I think they're going to play with a ton of fire. But before I pick, y'all got any keys to this one?
Yeah, I want to talk about the pressure that the coaches are under because there's so much more to it than a normal G5 Conference Championship matchup. Like, just for the Mountain West, for example, if the Mountain West winner was going to go to the playoffs, which, first of all, as Trail is saying in the chat, James Madison's best G5 team, it's dumb that these two teams are certainly going to go to the playoffs, whoever the winner is, when the best G5 team, JMU, stands a chance of being on the outside looking in. Really, really sad to see that play out the way it has. But as far as the coaches go and the pressure they're under, I wonder, is there more pressure on them to win, or is there pressure on them to lose, right? So there's a couple of ways that this could play out, or this could be playing out in offices of these guys. The one way is that their prospective jobs or their future jobs, Florida and Oklahoma State, are trying to pull them away. Say, hey, like I know you can coach the playoffs if you make it, but we need you for this. We need you for recruiting. We need you for offseason. We need you for portal. Like trying to pull these guys away. And is there some hints of we don't want you to win, but then also are they under pressure from their current teams, which I'm sure they are, to win? And is there even pressure from like Oklahoma State fans for the North Texas coach to win? I can't remember his name. Or is there pressure from Florida fans for Summerall to win? Because if you lose this game and you get blown out, how much does that impact your future fan base as well as your current fan base? That's something would be interested to talk about is like, if a coach loses this game, does a way you performed after you sign your new contract impact perspective of new fans and new recruits and new administration?
Honestly, I think they're Jay chillin'. It almost feels like a win-win. I get they have a ton to do right now because you're basically working two jobs. But say you're North Texas's coach, you lose. Dang, that sucks. I get to go start my new job. I don't think Oklahoma State fans are going to care too much if you lose this game.
Yeah.
They're really excited about you. You immediately get to be like, hey, look who I'm bringing with me. We just had the highest scoring offense in the country this season. I'm bringing that to Oklahoma State. You win. You get to go to the College Football Playoff for the first time in North Texas history. Those fans love you. You get to be with this team that clearly you love and means a lot to you. And then you kind of have a rooting contingent with Oklahoma State as well. And similar for John Summerall, it almost feels like a win-win to me of like, I win, I get to coach in the playoffs, I lose, and I get to start my new job.
Yeah, I just wonder if a loss here could be perceived as like starting your new job on the wrong foot. Or is it, I mean, I get that they aren't the same place, but it is almost like your first act as the new head coach at Oklahoma State or Florida is losing a G5 championship.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there will be some fans, especially Florida fans, that feel like that, but I think it'll be a small minority.
Yeah, especially given the Sunbelt Billy stuff and the standards they have and how much they've been hurt. That is a great point about how, yeah, I would be interested to see how they handle it.
I think really them losing, most Florida fans would actually be happy about it because they would go, great, now he's on campus and now he's recruiting for us and just working solely for us. So, sucks he lost, but not really.
Did y'all see
Hooray.
Summerall said that he wasn't going to try and bring Tulane's recruiting class with him?
Yeah.
How do you think does that piss off players? So like, I don't know if it's just a recruiting class or if it's portal guys, but if he gets a "I am better than thou" vibe, which some people took that like, I'm not bringing Tulane's recruiting class because I can do better at Florida. If he's got that same approach to, even if it's just subtle with the players, is that a problem?
How easy is it for him to have that recruiting class go to Tulane and then just take them in the spring portal window?
Yeah, it's because also the thing too of like if he's like I'm not gonna bring that to Tulane, but then one of those better recruits is like, hey coach, I want to come with you. I'm sure he's gonna be like, I'm not gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna like actively recruit them.
It feels a little bit of a safe face kind of thing.
Okay.
Like Kiffin. Now Kiffin was lying, and Summerall might be lying a little bit here too. But Kiffin saying, "Oh, I tried and I wanted to coach the team." It doesn't feel that way. And also, he was saying that, "Oh, the players wanted me to stay as well."
He definitely wanted to coach the team. That's what he lied about. Is the players clearly were done with him at the end.
I think, yeah, Summerall could very easily just get those guys in the spring portal, and also those guys can make the decision themselves as well. Now they can't. It'd be hard for them to make that decision if Summerall in Florida isn't offering them a scholarship, and that is also a really big conflict of interest of him still coaching the team. But he's also the Florida head coach right now. Can he offer them a scholarship as the Florida head coach while he's still technically the Tulane head coach? I don't know how the hell that works. That's really weird.
I'm sure it would
and
be
wonky
offered
for
by like an
me.
assistant coach or something.
Maybe.
He probably just won't touch it until they lose.
Which is possible. At least you're able to do that in the college basketball video game that I play. Your assistant coach can offer scholarships. In fact, sometimes you do that because you as a head coach don't have good charisma, and your assistant coach does. That's off topic. I think for the head coaches and the pressure, I think it's two different scenarios. Summerall in Florida, I think they want him there as quick as possible. I agree with you, Jack, because that's only going to help them recruiting-wise and them getting back on the right foot as quickly as possible because they want to be contenders. Oklahoma State wants to be the next Texas Tech, and that's kind of their selling point. But for Eric Morris, North Texas's head coach, it may end up helping his job at Oklahoma State more, especially in this coming transfer portal window, winning this game. If Old Piss doesn't move, that's the 6 versus 11, and North Texas hasn't played Old Piss. Old Piss blew out Tulane
It's
already
probably
this
not
year.
the 6 versus 11 if UVA wins,
You're right.
but there's a world they could be 11.
They could be 11, or Old Piss could somehow move up to 5. Who knows?
If Texas Tech loses to BYU, BYU could drop.
Sure.
Yeah. That being said, I think if they potentially get the opportunity to go play at Old Piss, you have an opportunity to go shock or have a really competitive playoff game. And I think that's only going to help you when you go to Oklahoma State and you can say, look what I did at North Texas. Sanders, do you know the North Texas mascot? What they're...
The green machine?
The mean
Mean
green.
Green? Okay.
Exactly. And you do a college football pod. No one really knows what their mascot is. And so that is a selling point. Look at what I did for North Texas. Look what we could potentially do here at Oklahoma State. So I think it helps him more to win this game and then be competitive in the playoff. Somehow I think you would see him getting more benefit out of losing this game and just getting straight to Florida.
Sure.
Because Florida is the brand that sells itself. Oklahoma State isn't the brand that Florida is. So you didn't have to sell that brand as much, the difference there. In terms of picking this game, North Texas is favored by 2.5. Again, this is at Tulane. I think North Texas outscores Tulane. I think Tulane's distracted from the head coaching perspective. I don't think the team is. I do want to reiterate that. But also, when given the opportunity, which I'm pretty sure this is our first Tulane game of the year.
It is.
In the words of Bryce Harper, when given the opportunity to pick against Jake Retzlaff, former BYU quarterback, because he betrayed us, I'm going to take that opportunity and take North Texas to win and cover.
Did he betray us, or did we betray him by kicking him off the team? Are you saying that him
No,
having
he
premarital
betrayed us.
sex was him betraying us?
He betrayed us because
He broke the law.
there were clear expectations that he did not meet. Whether you think those
Yeah.
expectations are fair or not, he
Yep.
knew them,
Preach.
and he went out. He went out of his way to break them, and so that's on him. That's a betrayal. Also, talk about, you said Tulane's probably locked in. He clearly isn't. He's focused on a lot of off the field stuff.
That's a great point.
Back to his BYU days.
Hard to argue with that.
So
I
make your pick,
I will
Sanders.
also pick North Texas to cover, and I will be watching to see how guys play. Are any guys playing like it's an interview for future for the portal to follow their head coach? I'll be interested to see if any guys are above and beyond. Not that football players typically play hard, they hit hard. That's how football works. But are some guys going above and beyond?
That's a fair point.
So I will go North Texas to cover, and I'll be watching that with great interest.
Yeah, I'm going to take North Texas as well. I feel very comfortable taking the team that almost always scores an insane amount of points to end up winning this game.
Yeah.
Drew Mestamaker, Caleb Hawkins, Wyatt Young at receiver, 1,200 receiving yards. I'm just going to back those boys. So give me North Texas.